All right, Pirate fans and surrounding areas, we got a special podcast today. It's the first time we're doing this, and I wanted to get do this podcast today. This was our only day to do it, and luckily the coaches and the athlete were available to do it. But we're going to be talking Rockport Fulton Pirates cross country. We've never ever spoken cross country here on the Pirates Coast Sports Network, but this is the first one, and we're going to continue doing this next year as well with the coaches and hopefully some of the players will want to come on. Before today, it's a special podcast, as I said, because our athlete is state bound. He's done amazing this year, and we wanted to definitely introduce him to the community. For a lot of the people that will watch this podcast that do not know our coaches or our players, I wanted to take this time to introduce him and talk a little bit about the amazing season that he's had this year. So on the screen up on the top, I have one of our coaches, Coach Thompson. Coach, how you doing?
Pretty good in yourself.
I'm doing great, Coach. And then on the bottom screen, we have our other coach, cross country coach, and that's Coach Blue. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great, coaches. Both, thank you for taking some time to join the podcast here this afternoon. And then on the screen, we have our Rockport Fulton Pirate athlete, the young man who has had an amazing season this year, and that's our Rockport Fulton Pirate cross country runner, Royce Haven. Royce, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great, Royce. Thank you for stopping by here and talking to us for a few minutes. So I know you're probably a little shy, but thank you for coming on. The questions are not going to be hard. But first of all, Royce, I want to congratulate you on this amazing season that you have. I can honestly tell you, I don't know a lot about cross country, but I'm going to do my best here as we're going to be covering next year. But I did see the send off, Royce, that you and your coaches got. It was amazing. I saw it live. You're at the school with a band. You guys kind of walked down the hallway. And you got teachers and other student bodies there congratulating you, seeing you off, and then got the fire trucks, and then I saw the football players heading out there too to also send you off. I thought all of that is amazing, and kudos to the people that put it together, because I think that says a lot about the support of the school and even the community and here on the Pirates Coast Sports Network. I do want to ask you a few questions. They're not very hard. I want to start off when you were kind of younger. So you're a junior, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to have you next year. And I want to talk a little bit about how did you get involved in running? I mean, do you play any other sports outside of running cross country?
Yes, sir. I do. I do soccer.
Soccer. Okay, so we're going to cover soccer, so we'll see you there. But cross country, when I was younger, I liked to run. I was never a long distance runner. That just it wasn't my thing. I could run a short distance, but not long distance. How did you get involved in running? Like, at what age did you say I enjoy running, and this is something I want to continue to do through middle school and possibly high school?
So I started when my sister was in eighth grade. I was in, no, she was in seventh grade. I started in sixth grade, and she had told me to go out there and run with her team. And so I went out there and I did a couple miles, and it just stuck with me.
Yeah, you're pretty good at it. I'll tell you that. Look where you're at right now. So that's awesome. And then you're playing soccer. So did you play soccer did you start that when you were younger?
I started soccer when I was young, yes, sir.
Yeah. So you had that long distance because you got to be able to run that football field. Okay, so you were already accustomed to that, and so then you start running here for Rockport in about middle school or so. So at what point did you tell yourself, I'm really good at this?
Probably my seventh grade and eighth grade year
Wow,
when I
wow.
camp, and I was like, well, I guess this is my sport.
Yeah, it sure is. And so talk to us a little bit about cross country. So this season, your practice, I heard that you guys get up early in the morning, right? Like I heard you guys are up at the school around 6 or so. So that's hard. Um, so for you, what's that like? Tell us what the morning's like during season. So you get up at what time? Take us through the process of the time you wake up, get to the school, and what time you end your running, your practice running.
Usually I wake up around 5:50 and should gets me 10 minutes to get ready, and then leave the house by 6. I have practice at 6:15. Um, then we start our warm up, and then we stretch, and then we have whatever Coach Blue has for us. We do this the practice.
So, Coach, I'll jump over to you, Coach Blue. So all the guys come, all the kids come in. What does the practice consist of from them? So they get in there. Are they running the track? Do they run around the school? Like what does all that consist of?
Well, it starts at 6:15, and they start their warm up, which starts at the school. And then after their warm up, they do their stretches, and then we have 2 hard days, so it just depends on if it's a hard day or an easy day. So if it's an outrun day, we start on the track, and then they go out and they go, around town, and each kid will have, like, my middle school kids will start with 20, and then by the end of the season they're running about 30 minutes, and then we have another bracket for another group, and then another bracket for another group. But like Royce would be running 55 minutes on his easy runs.
Wow. It takes a special kind of athlete to run like that. That wouldn't be me. I mean, I was good. I loved basketball. That was my sport. I did some soccer. I love baseball, but I was no good at it. But running, boy, that's a lot. So I just wanted to get that out there, Coach, so people, can kind of understand the work that it takes to get to this point. It's not one practice. They're consistently having to get up. It's a lot of dedication that they have to put in, not to mention they've got their schoolwork and other stuff. So that, Royce, is a pretty long day for you. Royce, what does the season consist of? So like in the season, how many times do you guys run? Is it once a week, twice a week that you guys have meets?
It's once a week, yes, sir.
And how long is that? It starts from what month and it lasts, what, 2-3 months, 2 months?
2-3 months.
2-3 months?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot. So let's talk a little bit about when you qualified for state. So I saw the video that was posted up there. So Coach Blue was with you there. And then I saw you when you gave the hug. And then I think you went down, possibly hugged a family member, your mama, saw you walking. What was that like? Take us through that. You have to hit a certain, I think a number or something. So talk to us about going into that run and just when you found out you were going to state, what that was like for you.
Definitely going into my regional meet, I was like, need to get out there. I need to fight against these other guys that are my speed, and it's whoever really wants it. And I really wanted it. And I just went out there and gave it my all. And then once we found out I officially qualified, it was just a rush of joy and happiness.
I bet. Is this the first time you're up there at state?
No, this is my second year.
Wow. So you did it last year as well?
No, I did it my freshman year. I didn't qualify for my sophomore year, and here I am again.
And that's kind of good because I think so. You know what to expect now, right? You've been there your freshman. Of course, you're a little older now, but you've been there. You know what to expect. Coach Blue, I'd ask you. So when you're competing, do you know anything about the other runners, or just about what Royce it needs to do? Do you know anything about any of the other runners he's going to be competing with?
Like if we ran against them before, I would know a little bit, but if we've never seen them, I have no idea. I kind of tell them, let's I give them a number. This is the number you have to be, or let's try to get in this number place range, and he goes out and he does it.
Awesome. Royce, what's it like during the off season? Obviously, you have to stay in shape. I mean, you got to have endurance to do this, right? So, in season, obviously, you're in shape. You're running. You're getting up every morning. You're on a schedule. But what do you do during the off season when the season ends to stay in shape for the next year to make sure that you're ready to go? Are there any things? Do you change your food or anything like that? Is there anything you do?
I keep it all the same. It's less on the practices though. I don't practice my full weeks. I do maybe 2 or 3 times a week. I go out and stay consistent with my outruns.
That's awesome. Awesome. Coach Keith, I'd ask you to talk a little bit. So we know you're the basketball coach, but how did you get involved in cross country? How long have you been coaching track cross country?
This is my first year.
Oh, wow.
And Coach Souza approached me at the beginning of the year, and he just kind of gave me, choice as far as like, hey, right now I'm looking at you for high school football or maybe, cross country. What do you think? And I was like, I did cross country my senior year in high school. So I was like, I think that cross country would benefit me more, especially, with the running and stuff like that. So this is my first year officially being a cross country coach with Coach Blue.
And you're going to state. Wow, I didn't get no better than that. Wow, that's awesome. Coach Blue, so I would ask you, how long have you been in Rock? Was the first time I met you? How long have you, is this your first year? How long have you been in Rockport? And how long have you been coaching cross country?
I've been with Rockport for 18 years.
Wow.
And the kids asked me how long I've been coaching cross country because I was with Coach Rice. So I think it's 10 years, maybe not, maybe 8, somewhere around that, 8 to 10 years.
Wow. I think this is amazing, Royce, that you're able to do this. Like I said, it takes a special type of athlete to run. Not everyone can do that and run consistently. How do you do it when you're running? Like do you tell yourself to keep a pace? I mean, I don't know. Tell me, how many people run per meet? Like on a regular meet, is there 60, 70 more, less kids, more kids? How many kids are running?
Roughly around 50 up to 80 kids. But to keep myself going, I just tell myself that could be worse, could be harder, but I try to stay, positive in my head. Well, sometimes the negativity does fight over, but sometimes I just gotta fight it off.
Absolutely. I would imagine. I mean, that's the meet. So when you guys run in the meet, how long is the run?
Roughly around 20 minutes.
Wow. Wow. No, that wouldn't be for me as much as I could sit there and live stream it for you and watch you run. That would be my thing. I'd be a good fan. I could never run like that. That is awesome. Well, Coach Keith, I'll ask you. So you know Royce this year. Can you give us one word that would describe Royce?
Yeah, but before I do that, I want to go ahead and say that Royce is an amazing athlete. But the real mastermind behind all this is Coach Blue, man. She comes up with some great workouts and she has pushed these kids because even though Royce is the only state qualifier, we did qualify for region as a team with a lot of new guys coming out for cross country or guys that just didn't do it last year. So we got to give credit to, her where it's due because she is very smart at what she's doing and she's going to make, a really big, more of an impact at Rockport when it comes to doing what she does. But as far as Royce, man, I think a word that describes him is special. He's a special worker. He's a special athlete. I think that, as great as a coach that Coach Blue is, it kind of like Royce goes and takes it to another level because I think it's more of a willpower in the sport than anything. Like, how bad do you want it? You know what I mean? Like how he said, how bad do you want it? And there's a lot of pain in this sport and there's a lot of mental toughness in this sport that you just got to keep pushing through. So like you said, special, man. Me and Coach Blue ride our bikes to keep up with him and it's hard riding a bike to keep up with him. So like, it's unreal to see how fast he can run for how long he can run. And he makes it look easy. And I know a lot of people will look at him and be like, it's tough, man. It is tough to do what Royce Haven does.
Wow. So that's awesome. And like I said, it takes a special type of athlete to get up in the morning and do that. Now knowing that the coaches they can only stay up with you on a bike, that means it'd take my car to have to stay up with you because I couldn't even do that with the bike. So wow, that's special. Coach Blue, I want to ask you. So you heard your coach here, Coach Keith, talk about how special you are and how highly he thinks of you and the workouts that you put together. What does it mean to you to hear your coach say those things about you?
It means a lot. It does mean a lot. I sit and I think of the workouts and I just want everyone to succeed. And I didn't start out like this. Coach Rice was my mentor and I took a lot from him and what Keith just said, it means a lot.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, I was at the Sports Hall of Fame this year where we inducted Coach Rice, and I didn't have him as a coach, but I did have him as a teacher back when I was in school. And everything you hear about him is accurate. He makes the day go by so good. It was never stressful in his classroom. He made it fun, made it laughable. It was always great. You look forward to going into his class. And then I heard all of the kind words and all of the stuff that people that have accomplished so much kind of go back to him and praise him for seeing the talent there and working with him. And then when we hear you talk again, just another person that talks about Coach Rice and the impact that they had. We're glad to have you. I didn't know you had been in Rockport that long, but now that we know, and hopefully you'll be here next year, right? So we'll
Yes.
have you on more to talk more about your program and more about the other kids and just the work that it takes and just bring it out to the community to put more eyes on our cross country program, but also not only Royce, who's going to be coming back next year, but you heard Coach Thompson say about the other kids that as a team qualify for regionals, which means that we're going down, we're going towards the right direction, right? So, Coach Blue, I want to ask you one word for you to describe your athlete here, Royce.
I know I said fast, but Royce is amazing. He talked about coming out in sixth grade. I have a story when he came out, Coach Rice was there and he said, okay, go out and run a mile. And I looked at him, I'm like, do you think he can? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. I'm like, okay. So he did a mile. And then Coach Rice said, okay, do another mile. And I looked at him again and I'm like, okay, all right. And he came back and he was fine. So one word I can describe Royce is amazing. And he's a hard-working young man. He comes to practice at 6:15. He does his schoolwork, and then he also has a job, and then he does it again. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, that's amazing, coaches and Royce and Royce. Before we go, right? I'm not gonna keep you guys long. You got to settle in. But also kudos to your parents. I don't know who
Yeah.
they are, Royce, but obviously, if what we see here, it starts at home for me. And so if there's this dedication and great work ethic, and you got a job and you're organized, that starts at home. So we've got to give mom and dad credit. Thank you. Did a great job with Royce. What we see here in the way coaches talk, it starts at home, and that's mom and dad starting that off. So mom and dad have done a great job. Royce, I got to ask you before I let you go. So are you nervous? So talk to us about running. When are you running? Friday, Saturday?
I run tomorrow. Yes, sir. Friday.
What time?
9.
9. Okay, Coach Blue. So after that, what happens? When will we know what the final results are? Do we find out later on that day?
On that day, and it's pretty much right away because they go by the bib and they cross the line. It takes about 5-10 minutes. There's a link on the UIL that will have the results, what place he came in.
Awesome. Well, I tell you, Pirate fans, we wanted to start this podcast to get Royce out there to the community. For the people here in Rockport who do not know who Royce Havens, he's a junior, had an amazing year. It's not easy to get to state. This is the second time, but you're hearing the coaches here talk about what it takes to have to go through the season. Every day they get up early in the morning. They got studies. Royce has a job, and still being able to work through all of that to give himself an opportunity here at state, I think is awesome. So, Royce, I do want to let you know the Pirates Cove Sports Network here, we definitely support you. I'm sure the community of Rockport as well, coaches as well. I think we've got to have great coaches. I think the coaches, Coach Blue and Coach Thompson, because Coach Thompson's been on here before because of the basketball that we cover. But Coach Blue, the coaches that come in here never give themselves the credit I think that they deserve, and rightfully so, right? A coach is never going to come up here and pat themselves on the back, but we're going to do it for you. We've got two great coaches, obviously Coach Thompson, first year, but you've been here and you learned from one of the best, obviously. And now he's retired, and now you're here. So we're very, very grateful to have you here. running our cross country program, and look at the results, right? We have Royce here, and we've had some other kids. So I want to thank you guys for coming on and spending a few minutes here with us. Royce, I'll go to you. First of all, good luck tomorrow. I know you're going to give it your best. You're a champion, whatever happens tomorrow. To me, you're a champion just by the words that the coaches have said to me. That is a champion. So in my eyes, you're a champion. But good luck tomorrow. We're rooting for you, bud. Anything you want to say, final words before we let you go?
Thank you so much. I think I wouldn't be here without my mom. She's pushed me like 100% all the way. That's who I ran to after Coach Blue. I would always run to my mom. She was my biggest one. She's my number one fan. She's never missed a meet. She's always there with open arms. Never gets upset about what I've done or what I did. It's just there.
Awesome. Well, Mom, you did a great job and definitely deserve that shout out. We're very proud of your son. And like I said, he's a champion in our eyes. I'm going to catch you on record, though. Next year, when we cover cross country, you will come on a few times on the podcast. Is that correct?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. And then, maybe you can get some of the other fellow runners to come on as well as we put more eyes on cross country. Coach Thompson, I'll give you the final word. Anything you want to add before we let you go?
Just everybody in Rockport say a prayer tonight that Royce has a safe and healthy race, and that he gives his best showing of the season. We can come home with a state champ tomorrow, hopefully, and all the hard work that him and I and Coach Blue have put in, everybody else, he can go home and show something for it. But even if he doesn't, we're proud of what he's done this year. Amazing.
Absolutely. Season. Absolutely. Coach Blue, we'll give it you the final word. Anything you want to add?
First, I want to say thank you to Rockport Fulton ISD for wonderful send-off to the community. It was heartwarming to see everyone there. Also, thank you for having us on here to represent cross country, because sometimes it's not represented and some people don't know about the sport. And thank you for having us on here. And please wish Royce a few extra prayers for Royce tonight.
Absolutely, Royce. I'll have you in my prayers. And Coach Blue, absolutely. Like I said, we have talked to Coach Sosa, and one of the things we're working really hard on is to cover all of the sports, not just football, baseball, softball. I know those are the big sports, but wrestling, tennis, cross country, track, powerlifting, all of those sports that we have. We're going to work very hard to create these podcasts where coaches can come in and talk about their program and talk about their players and bring in students that feel comfortable and coming in and talking about the program and just what they're accomplishing there. So definitely for all the Pirate fans, next year, cross country, we're going to do a podcast, hopefully a weekly podcast like we do all the other sports, and hopefully we'll have some of the runners, our athletes, come on during the season to talk about the program. So guys, thank you very much. Good luck, not only Royce, but Coach Thompson, Coach Blue. I'll have you guys in my prayers tonight, that everything works out great. But thank you for what you've done, because you're all champions. To get to this point, it's a lot of hard work, and that's the dedication to the runners like Royce. But definitely, you got to have good coaching. That's where it starts. And obviously, we have some good coaches here for cross country. For the Pirate fans, the way you can support this is when you see this podcast, share it to your timeline. Let's get more eyes on this podcast on Rockport Cross Country. Definitely share it to your timeline, like it and share it with family and friends. Let's get more eyes on this podcast. And then next year, and I apologize if we got late, but next year we'll start early on, and we'll have a weekly podcast for cross country. Coach Thompson, Coach Blue, Royce, thank you very much. Royce, good luck, man. We're going to be rooting from you here from Rockport.
Thank you.
Thank you, coaches. Have a good one.
See you later.
Bye.